examine the threads. It's my own fault for trying to adjust it once without loosening the axle nut. The bolt is good. I show it to him. It looks like the internal threading in the frame that's stripped. John stares at the wheel for a long time. Think you can make it into town? Oh yeah, sure. You can run it forever. It just makes the chain difficult to adjust. He watches carefully as I take up the rear axle nut until it's barely snug, tap it sideways with a hammer until the chain slack is right, then tighten up the axle nut with all my might to keep the axle from slipping forward later on, and replace the cotter pin. Unlike the axle nuts on a car, this one doesn't affect bearing tightness. How do you know how to do that? He asks. You just have to figure it out. I wouldn't know where to start, he says. I think to myself, that's the problem, all right. Where to start? To reach him, you have to back up, and the further back you go, the further back you see you have to go, until what looked like a small problem...
In 2 miles, take exit 456 for US 83, north US 377 toward Menard, Mason.
Until what looked like a small problem of communication turns into a major philosophic inquiry. That, I suppose, is why the Chautauqua. I repack the toolkit and close the side cover plates and think to myself, he's worth reaching, though. On the road again, the dry air cools off the slight sweat from that chain job, and I'm feeling good for a while. As soon as the sweat dries off, though, it's hot. Must be in the 80s already. There's no traffic on this road, and we're moving right along. It's a traveling day. Now I want to begin to fulfill a certain obligation by stating that there was one person, no longer here, who had something to say and who said it, but whom no one believed or really understood. Forgotten. For reasons that will become apparent, I prefer that he remain forgotten.
In a half mile, take exit 456 for US 83, north US 377 toward Menard, Mason.
Prefer that he remain forgotten, but there's no choice other than to reopen his case. I don't know his whole story. No one ever...
Take exit 456.
Whole story. No one ever will, except Phaedrus himself, and he can no longer speak. But from his writings and from...
In a quarter mile, turn right onto US 377.